Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to a new video. Transfer video this time out. Got a little bit of breaking news today on a couple of different players. Main one being the guy in the title and the thumbnail, Pedro Neto. Do want to have an interesting conversation about him. But before I get on to the topics of discussion, if you would please like this video, really helps the channel out, and subscribe if you are new. Turn the notification bells on so you never miss when we go live, because we have started streaming once again on this channel. When news breaks, we may go live on it. So, like I said, turn your notification bell on so you don't miss the live streams, late night live, me and Hugh. Come and join us. Right. On to the transfers. Now, there's been a little bit of breaking news on a few different players. The main one we're here to talk about today is Pedro Neto. Wolves' Pedro Neto. According to Mail Sport, Man City are exploring the transfer market for a new winger, with Wolves' Pedro Neto among those on their radar, with Troyes Savio on loan at Girona also well liked. Napoli's Kvaratskhelia has also been watched for the past year. Now, I'll work from back to front. Kvaratskhelia at Napoli, not even going to waste my time talking about it. Not even going to waste my breath. It's pointless. De Laurentiis is still in charge at Napoli. He will not pick up the phone. He will not deal with us. We will not deal with them. It's pointless talking about it more than that. That is not going to happen. He's a predominantly left-hand-sided player anyway. We have two of those now. It's a no from me, and it's not going to happen anyway. So, again, that's all I got to say on that one. In terms of Savio, I believe Troyes are also a CFG club, as well as Girona, which is on loan at, which is also a CFG club. So I imagine City have some very, very detailed statistics and information about Savio. It's an interesting one to keep my eye on. I think that it shouldn't be too hard to get a deal done if they are CFG clubs. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. That's another one I've come to talk about. I don't know too much about Savio, so I want to, dally on that one for too long. Someone who I do know a little bit more about is Wolves' Pedro Neto. Now, this came as a surprise to me. In the summer, we were linked to Elise. He signed a new contract at Crystal Palace. We ended up going for Mateus Nunes as an extra midfielder instead of a wide player there. Maybe the thinking was once the summer rolls around, we will get a wide player. But yeah, it came as a shock to me because I didn't think that we were going to target a forward player. I thought there were other areas, or there still are other areas to me, which I think need addressing first. I think possibility of a fullback is higher than it's ever been before, due to the performances of Kyle Walker this season. I've already touched on them. They haven't been great. And if we're going to persist with our flying right back, maybe it won't be a bad idea to sign one. Again, like I said with Calvin Phillips, when he eventually goes, he will leave. He will not be here forever. When he goes, whether it be January or summer, I believe summer comes calling, we will try and sign someone else in that position. That for me is obviously a position of importance because Rodri, God bless him, can't play 60 games. So when it came to Pedro Neto being linked, I was taken back, but happily taken back, really, because I think that it would be a welcome addition, in my opinion. I really like him as a player. I mean, for me, there's still a couple of players that I would have over him in the pecking order in terms of going forward. And a couple of players that are maybe more Pep Guardiola players. Number one is Lucas Paqueta. Of course, everybody's been going on and on and on and on and on about Lucas Paqueta. He's still, if we're going to sign a forward-thinking player, creative or goal-scoring or whatever, he is still my number one target for me because he's versatile. He can play as an 8, he can play as a 10, he can play off the left and the right. He's a Pep Guardiola player to a T, technically sound, very versatile, suits the small squad that we have. That for me, again, Prem proven, that for me would be the one. And then after that, I think Elise is a slightly better fit. In terms of play style, he leans a little bit more into the control style. I really, really like Elise myself, so I have maybe a little bit of bias. I don't think there's too much in between Elise and Neto, though. I think that either one of them, if we were to target an out-and-out winger, would be a good signing. I'm all for Pedro Neto. I just think that those two players that I mentioned before, for me, on my list, pecking order for me, just above him. just above him. But that's not to say he'd be a bad signing. It'd be all for him if we can make a deal happen. Why not? Why not? We have Mateus Nunes. Maybe he can help try and convince him. We have a strong Portuguese-speaking core in the squad. So I don't see why there'd be a stumbling block. I think Arsenal have been interested in Pedro Neto as well. It'd be one to watch for the summer, especially if we think we need a wide player now. Why would we need a wide player? Bernardo Silva has a 50 million release clause into his new contract that he just signed. Will he be off in the summer? We don't know. Maybe this is us making a shortlist in case we do lose Bernardo Silva because he's been playing down the right. Who knows on that one? I don't know where he'd go, mind, but you know, if someone comes in for him, then we're going to need to sign a player. I think with Phil Foden becoming a mainstay in the middle of the pitch, maybe a winger's not a bad idea because Phil Foden was operating in that space. He still can, but I do want to see him continue in midfield. So Pedro Neto would be a great addition, like I just said. The one negative I will say about Pedro Neto is injury history. He hasn't had the best injury history. Did his ACL. Really struggled last season with a really bad injury. I forgot what he did. Maybe it was Achilles, I don't know. I'm just looking on Transfermarkt. It doesn't actually say. It just says ankle injury, 127 days missed last season on the back of, an ACL a couple of seasons ago. The injury history is not great. That is the one outlying factor there that puts me off ever so slightly. Same thing with Elise, if I'm to be fair. Elise's injury record isn't great either. So that's sort of why I'd lean more towards Paqueta as well. I don't believe his injury record is as bad. So again, for me, that's why he's above in the pecking order. But again, not a bad option. If he can prove that his injuries are behind him, if he can stay fit, for the rest of this season. I know he did his hamstring and he was out for a couple of months. But if he can stay fit for the rest of this season, then maybe it's one to keep an eye out, because I do like our dynamic down the left when you look at Grealish and Doku. They complement each other because they both have different strengths. And down the right-hand side, we don't have that at the moment. We sort of have, Bernardo Silva, Oscar Bob, Phil Foden. They all kind of do similar things. We don't really have a plan B or a second option. Pedro Neto would add that. So again, my overriding point is I still think he's got a bit to prove with the injury record, but it's not a transfer I'd be against. I'd be for it if the right deal can be done, because I believe that it would complement our squad. It would fill a hole, which is our right-hand side, having a natural winger. He'd be a natural winger, come in, he could play both sides as well. So slightly versatile. And I think it's not a bad signing. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below on Pedro Neto. Interesting conversation. I think it's just one to keep your eye on, see whether any more information comes out, whether it materialises. Me personally, again, like I just said, I'd be all for it. You let me know if you would and why. And if not, again, why would you not be for it? Is it the injuries, like I just said, or is there another reason why you wouldn't be for it? If you would do me a massive favour and like this video on the way out, that'd be massively appreciated. And subscribe if you are new, trying to reach 7k as quickly as possible. Don't forget to turn your notification bell on, because we will be live in the near future at some point. And I'll see you when I see you.